Do you think that now we're seeing the police doing some kind of change in concept? Do you think that the police are using a heavier hand now? It's obvious that the Arab population understands that they will not be allowed to act as in the past and burn houses and synagogues using petrol bombs, etc., as part of their effort to keep them from joining into what's happening?
I would like to hope so. One of the factors that's influencing what's going on is the municipal elections, which have been deferred to January. But one of the things that's making the Arabs not join in what's happening is because they're busy internally with their clans preparing for the elections. And that's one of the reasons for their not getting involved in what's happening with Gaza. Otherwise, would have seen them making closures in the roads in Wadi Ara and other places.
That's an interesting interpretation. Let's talk again about the Druze community. We see plenty of Jews who are staying at home. What's going on with the Druze community?
We fight for our homeland, and we have a holy triangle. The holy triangle is the land, the Druze religion, and the respect that the Druze demand. And those are the things that Jews are willing to fight for. We will never leave our houses. Without a house, we have no security. Without territory, we have no social security, and therefore we're not prepared to leave our houses, even if bloodshed is caused as a result. Look at the whole history of the Druze. They have never left their places, whether it's Ramat Golan, Golan Heights. They remained in place there. In the Shuf Mountains in Lebanon, they stayed in place. The Druze in 48, who were together with the Jewish community but did not leave their homes. Druze do not leave their homes for any cost. And I call to the Israel. I see plenty of films from the Gaza, and I see many of videos from Gaza and the Palestinians that say we've managed to make them flee their homes from around the Gaza Strip and Ofakim and other places. And this makes me sick. We don't need to let them have the feeling that they have a victory of Jews and made them run away from their houses. We need to be ingrained in the land. I'd like to ask you about being ingrained on the land. We see that the Gazans don't really care about what's happened. Even if they lose thousands of people, it won't hurt them as much as losing land. Do you agree that the conquering of the Gaza Strip will be powerful? We hear about the Nakba too, that it wasn't a question of how many people died, but rather that they lost the land. Do you think that that's something that the state of Israel needs to take into consideration? I said 3 things that the government needs to take into consideration: to take over the Gaza Strip, to depopulate the Gaza Strip, and re-establish the Jewish settlements there. Otherwise, there's no chance for living here among the Gazan Strait and with the Gazans. I explain again, there's no difference between Abu Mazen and the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, all the other factions, all of them want to kill the Jews. And one other thing, even if Israel and all the leftists in Israel, even if everybody became leftists, they would still want to exterminate Jews. So we need to get rid of this leftist ideology, who are mistaken and have been taking Israel to directions because they don't understand the enemy's actions. They think that you can make peace with them, and you can't. It's impossible. And I say that with sorrow, that we'll need to live on our swords for a long time. We do not have a partner in peace. These people are bloodthirsty. They look like people, but they're not really human beings. And with people like this, the only thing you can do is with power and standing tall and fighting them back. That's the only thing we can do. I don't know how to put you in the war cabinet, but I'd love to see people who speak like you in the cabinet. Unfortunately, we don't hear that kind of language, the determination that we need. One other thing I want to add, he who doesn't believe in God and doesn't observe a pure religion, it's not only Jews, all other religions too, but I say it specifically to the Jews. Whoever does not believe in God and is not connected to the eternity of Israel and doesn't respect the Jewish religion, he will continue to get hit like this, unfortunately. In the future, let's all together go back to our roots, to the scriptures, to the eternality of Israel, and believe in God. And then, believe me, with the preparations for war with connection to the land and standing tall and to fight back forcefully, together we'll secure the eternity of Israel and the land of Israel. I hear what you're saying, and I'm thinking, where are all the Jews who need to be talking like this? And then before we end, I'd like to ask one more question. Explain the connection between the Druze and Israel. Where does it come from? This connection is not from the air. I'll give an example. For example, 1948, the Jewish community was weak. It was a paradox for the Jews to connect specifically with the Jews, that the minorities, the Jews minority would connect to the Israel minority. And nevertheless, the Druze joined the Jews and not to the Arabs, and fought in 48 and before at the side of the Jews, and then, of course, joined the army on a regular basis. This comes from a spiritual connection from the times of Moses and Jethro, who was 3,400 years ago. Moses married Jethro's daughter, and from then until now, we're continuing together, shoulder to shoulder. And after this beautiful country has arisen in the Middle East, we're also part and an integral part of Israel, and to feel proud and part of it. The state of Israel. Ataf, thank you for joining us. This was a very interesting interview. You are emphasizing the views of a lot of people here in a very clear fashion, without blinking and without stuttering, and that's the way. Thank you very much. I certainly hope that the IDF will vanquish the enemy and conquer the Gaza Strip, and will resettle the Gaza Strip, and that all of our soldiers will all return to peace to their families. Thank you.